When you consider the fact that the Republican Party currently controls the U.S. Supreme Court, the White House, and both branches of Congress, you have to appreciate the fact that they have actually managed to do very little real damage to the United States so far. Now, I know they've only had the majority on that Supreme Court for a couple weeks. I know Donald Trump has only been in office for close to 100 days, and the Republican-controlled House and Senate, they've been in power for slightly longer than that. But when you look at their alleged list of accomplishments, they really don't have very much room to gloat. There aren't too many things on that Republican list of things we've done that should make them proud. And in fact, they've sent 29 bills to Donald Trump to sign. Some of them bad. We do have the legislation that allows mentally ill people to go buy handguns. So obviously some of these things are items that could cause damage to the American public. But most of these 29 bills that have gone to the president are kind of procedural things, non-budget material, things of that nature that really have no sway one way or the other on partisan matters. But when it comes to the really, really harmful stuff, the mentally ill people buying guns is about the worst of the worst we've seen so far. They couldn't get their disgusting health care plan passed. And a lot of this has to do with Democratic opposition. We are beginning to see some Democrats, most Democrats in the House and Senate, standing up and doing their best to block some of these horrible things Republicans are trying to do. But you can't give the Democrats all the credit in this case, because some of the opposition to these Republican-sponsored initiatives are actually coming from within the Republican Party itself. You know, the Freedom Caucus helped to derail the American Health Care Act from the Republicans. They're the ones who have put Paul Ryan's job in jeopardy because they didn't think the bill harmed enough people. It didn't go far enough to repeal health care provisions for people who can't afford it. That was their beef with it. So I guess what I'm saying is things are bad right now in the United States, but occasionally we do have to look around and say, you know what? Given the fact that these guys control everything, it's not as bad as it could be. And again, I think most of the credit here doesn't go to the Democratic Party, and it doesn't go to the Freedom Caucus fighting the Republicans from the inside. It goes to people who've stood up, who've gone out and marched for science, marched for women, marched for equality, marched for gender rights. Those people who have been so active during Trump's first 100 days, they're the ones out there making the real difference. The ones who've shown up at those Republican healthcare town halls and asked the tough questions. The ones who have said, how dare you take my healthcare away while the government still pays for yours? How is that fair? The ones out there not creating a commotion, but drawing attention to an issue that everyone cares about. Those are the real heroes from Donald Trump's first 100 days. And I hope that as we continue going forward, these people are still going to be out there, because if those voices die down, it's going to give those Democrats in Washington clearance to start letting the Republicans have their way a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. I mean, we have Democrats like Joe Manchin who are more than willing to side with Republicans on 99% of the issues. But once we get those loud voices coming from their constituents saying, you'd better not, they will back off. So if the public pressure dies down, then the Democratic pressure will die down, and then we could be looking at a situation where these do-nothing Republicans in Washington are able to pass their horrible agenda. And we cannot allow that to happen. We can't allow them to continue giving tax breaks to people who don't need more money. Or we can't let them privatize Social Security. We can't let them take away SNAP benefits and other benefits for needy Americans. Those are things that people have to survive. The rich don't need tax cuts. Unemployed people do need food stamps sometimes. The Republicans have no way of really weighing what the public needs versus what the wealthy need. They will always go on the side of the wealthy. But if the public pressure remains strong, we'll at least still have the Democrats out there saying, you're not going to do that. And until we come to the 2018 midterms, that is the best that we can hope for.
If you like this video, make sure that you like, comment, and share, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to help support Ring of Fire, go to patreon.com/TheRingOfFire, become a monthly patron to help support independent progressive media.